Good day to all of you all. Thank you very much for the overwhelming response that you all gave for the H2 electric bike. Today we are here to discuss in detail the componentries that build this electric bike. An electric bike can be split into three distinct systems. One is the bicycle, then your traction kit and the energy system. Now let us first take the bicycle system. The bicycle can be categorized in the following systems. One is the frame system, which consists of the frame, the stem and the handlebar. Then you have the seat system, which consists of the seat tube with the seat. Then you have the suspension system, which has the suspension and your headset coupled to your stem. Then you get on to the wheel system, which has the tire tube, tire, then your hub. If it was spokes, then you have the spokes connected to the hub. Since this is an alloy wheel, it will have an integrated hub. Then you get into the drive system, which has your main crank with your gearbox and a shifter on your handle with the pedal arms and the pedal. Let us first take the frame system. Now this frame is manufactured using an aluminum 6061 alloy. The top tube and the bottom tube are hydroformed for better rigidity and strength. And the welding to all the joints are done through special welding process such that you don't see the welding marks. And in a frame, the most important aspect is the geometry. So there are very specific angles of the head tube, seat tube when you mount it along the axis, that is the wheelbase. Now the frame is connected through the pipe that runs to the suspension with a stem and a handlebar. These stems are of two types. One is a rigid stem and the other one is a flexible stem. What we use on the H2 is a flexible stem. And when you have a flexible stem, you will be able to adjust your reach. Now let us take the seat system. Generally the seat system has a coupler at the bottom, which enables you to adjust the seat tube. Then you have a seat tube and the seat tube coupled to a seat. Too much of a height of the seat will render your pelvic rocking, which will hurt your pelvis. So always ensure that the seat is kept at the appropriate height. On the seat tube, you have the suspension type of seat tubes, where you can also alter the suspension stiffness. I am now going to load the seat just to show how the suspension works. Similar to the flexible stem, to further adjust your reach, you have a flexibility on the seat stem where you will be able to push your seat at the back as well as front. Now let us come to the suspension system. Hydraulically locked out suspension. You have two sides of your suspension. On your right side, you have a lever which allows you to lock the suspension at various levels. You have a switch that helps you to control the stiffness of the suspension. Now the fourth system that we are going to look at is the wheel system. You have your tube, tire, then if it is a conventional rim, you will have your rim connected through a spoke into a hub. Whereas on an H2, we use something called a magnesium alloy casting and the hub is integrated. Within the hub, they run with ultra low friction bearings. So you have your standard wheel, which is 27.5 into 2.1, cladded to a magnesium alloy rim running on ultra low bearings. And on the axle side, we have something called a quick coupler axle. The advantage of a quick coupler axle is you could always unlock this axle to remove the wheel. The fifth system is the most important system on an electric bike, which is the brake system. So electric bikes pick up speed fast and they need to be brought to stop equally at a rapid pace. Hence what we generally use is a disc brake with a 160 rotor and special disc pad. Now the pads that we use on the H2 bike are called metal impregnated pads, which are far more efficient than the normal pads that are used on normal bicycles. So for the H2, on the front and back, we have the mechanically activated disc brake, and on the handlebar, we have a switch that while activating the brake, it gives a signal to the motor to cut off the power. The sixth system, which is the mechanical drivetrain. On the H2, we have an alloy pedal, and from the crank through a chain, it is connected to a 7-speed gear train. Especially for a mid-drive, the chain plays a very important role because the drive is connected through the chain to the wheels. Hence, the chain becomes a very important element, and we use KMC chains, which is world renowned for their manufacturing excellence for special purpose chains. Now we have finished the bicycle system. Now let us look at the electric drive system. Now the electric drive system, especially on the electric bikes, they are of two types. One is the hub drive system, where around 95% of the Indian manufacturers use them. What we have deployed in the H2 electric bike is a mid-drive mounted here, and in the mid-drive, what makes it unique is the motor, controller, sensors and the gearbox. All have been concealed within this small footprint. And on the H2 especially, the sensors that we deploy are the cadence as well as torque, which is to say that on start, it uses the torque, and as we move forward, it gets onto the cadence. So that is the greatest advantage of the drive that we have deployed in the H2. The final system is the battery system. Now with respect to range, one has to understand the range of an electric bicycle depends on 5 distinct factors. The first is the type of terrain on which you are riding. The flat terrain will definitely give you more range when compared to a hilly terrain. The second, tire pressure. For better range, always ensure that you have the rated pressure on the tires. The third is the headwind. Higher the headwind, the more the energy you will require, and therefore it will affect your range. 4 is the weight of the rider. The more heavier you are, the lesser the range you can get for a given energy pack. And the final point is the assist level. The lower the assist, the farther the range. The higher the assist, the lower the range. Finally, the highlight features of the H2 bike. On the handlebar, we have patented grips, which are called velo grips, geometric design. Now, what this design does is, when you'll go on long rides, generally you have something called a tunnel nerve here. Due to vibration, you will start feeling numbness in your ring finger. Now, just to avoid that, geometric pattern is created such that you have an acupuncture effect, and there is continuous blood circulation in this area. Then we get to the display. We have 2 modes. One is your eco mode and your power mode. And on the eco mode, you have 5 levels of assist. And on the power mode, you have another 5 levels of assist. The third feature is you can electronically lock the bike using your own password. And the fourth feature would be you're given 3 options of colors on your display. Depending on what you prefer, you could choose that color option. H2 is equipped with a front and rear LED light with sport mudguards, and that's about all on the H2. The H2 is an outcome of an in-depth thought on the geometry, power and range, all optimized and given in one package for the cycle enthusiast.